So I read your interview at TIFF, the 2019 Women's Director, and it was a wonderful interview. It answered so much, like how you came to the project and what excited you about Harriet, and you even talked about your angle on diversity in Hollywood. So. Not going to go into all of that because I'm going to direct my readers to that article because it was so good. But I was wondering if you could talk maybe about one of the best days shooting Harriet, one of the worst, and if you did it, I know you did a lot of research. Was there any research that you wanted in the script but it didn't fit the narrative, like that you would have liked to have had added in but didn't fit the narrative?
Okay, let's start with that one. There's more to her life. I mean, I had to kind of narrow the focus of what I was writing because we just weren't going to be able to do it in a million ways. And this particular, we wanted to do a theatrical movie on Harriet Tubman. So it wasn't a miniseries. It was so just in terms of her story being vast. But no, in terms of the period of time that we were examining, I'm trying to think, was there anything that didn't fit? The story fit together pretty well.
Yeah?
Yeah, it did.
Like a sort of a magical kind of...
Yeah, it did. I mean, there's a very clear story with a very clear through line, There were things I really wish. There are two major, if it was in a movie you would have called them set pieces, two major rescues that were spectacular that I couldn't put in. I had to narrow the scope, narrow the rescues down.
Okay.
I had to narrow the runs.
Many rescues, right.
Narrow the runs.
But the scene where she's saving her family and she has to go into the river, was that
That's a
really
scene.
hard shoot?
That was extremely hard. It was hard on a lot of different levels. It was very cold, and I was worried. It's hard not to worry about your actors, I'll tell you something about that night. Okay, so the day before, there's this wonderful, very short scene, but it's in the movie, where the freedom seekers are running across. It's dusk. It's a beautiful shot. Anyway, as soon as I say action, they run into a hive of ground hornets, or ground bees.
Oh my God!
And so the bees start flying up their period clothing.
Oh, and getting caught in
So
there.
they're getting caught in their clothes, so they're stripping off, being stung.
Yeah.
And then these angry bees kind of regrouped and attacked the crew, and everybody got stung. I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds of them.
Horrible.
So one of our actors, I won't tell you which one, but he got stung maybe 17 times, a lot. We sent him to the hospital, and he was fine, but he
wasn't allergic.
did not really enjoy the great outdoors. He was not one of those. He was
even to begin with.
So
and then he had to get stuck.
And then the very
17
next
times.
night, we're walking into the water.
So just
But just you don't know what you can't. You don't know everything that's in there. It's freezing cold. They're out in the marsh. Before they walk in, it's muddy. It's freezing.
Where was the shot?
Richmond, Virginia, been in the fall, and it was cold outside of Richmond. And so I was worried about them. I don't think it's just a female thing. I mean, I think you worry about, you don't want anybody to get hurt, because, for many reasons, one of which it just would be inhibits you.
Yeah.
But also, you make things as safe as you possibly can, and we had wonderful people around to make sure that things were safe. But Cynthia did 99% of her own stunts, and she wouldn't wear a wetsuit.
Wow.
She wouldn't wear a wetsuit because she felt she was so in character, that she wanted to feel cold. So that was extremely hard for me to watch. So I'm on a boat, in the middle of the water, and I'm shivering, and she's got to walk into the water from the shore to the boat, and she won't wear a wetsuit. And
how many times did she have to do this?
Well, she only did it once.
Okay.
Yeah, we were clear. And she was clear. She was like, no, you get it. I'm going to do this one time. And it's going to be good. You know, to make sure everything that you don't mess up, you know.
So when we see her face and
Yeah.
she's like this, it's all real.
We couldn't ADR it. So even though you kind of can't hear her, we couldn't ADR it because we wouldn't, you know what ADR looping, we could never imitate the cold in her voice.
Right.
She could never act it, you know, in a studio.
Yeah.
Because it was so cold.
That's
Speaking of the weather, I read that my favorite scene in the movie was when Harriet was crossing into Pennsylvania. I thought that sky, it was just so beautiful.
Okay, so that was the best day. I mean, there were many good days, but that day was magical.
Yeah.
It was absolutely magical. And one of the things was, you get to a certain point in a movie, and the crew, everybody in the cast and crew, uniquely, in my experience, knew why they were there every day. Like, it's like, we're doing it for Harriet. We were like, everybody was down for Harriet. However, it gets to a point in a movie where, you know, especially hard movies, it's hard, you're cranky. So we woke up that day and it was pouring. Everybody's just cranky. It's harder to get stuff done. She had 4 changes. She doesn't like to. Cynthia didn't like to go back and forth between Minty and Harriet. Harriet has a big character arc, and Minty's almost different than Harriet.
Right.
And so it besides costume and hair not liking it just because it's a big change. So she had like 4 changes that day and kind of went back and forth. It's getting later and later, so the line producer is cranky, the first AD is cranky, hair and makeup's cranky, Cynthia's cranky, everybody's super cranky, and it's raining, and at a certain point, I was advised, you know, you're never going to get that. But of course, I'm a director, so I've had a plan of where I need to be on this for this particular scene, and I've scouted it, and it's like, we can't even, they're like just abandoned, we can't even get the trucks up there. It's so muddy. We have to like schlep on foot, you know. But fortunately, we left the crane up there. You know, we left certain pieces of equipment up there, and so we slog up to the top of the hill. I'm rushing. I'm begging hair and makeup to get Cynthia through the works. Cynthia's kind of like, "Fuck it, I'm coming right now." You know? She's like, "I'm gonna be even faster."
And she has to go up on her
We all have to get up there, and now I'm like, "Oh, please, God, have the crane built. Like, you guys build the crane before she gets here, because if she has to wait for us, and I've rushed her, you know, and everybody's just working at maximum capacity."
Right.
Yeah.
And the sky's black. And my first AD's going, "Casey, look at the sky." I'm saying, "See that little blue patch right to the horizon?" Anyway, she comes up. The moment the crane is built, the moment we're ready, the sky parts, and that sun comes through. That sun comes through. And we did one take.
And I understood, is there a rainbow that formed?
Double rainbow behind us.
Double rainbow. Wow.
And the whole, I went into the DP's tent, you know, to watch on the really good monitor.
Yes.
And as the sun flares, he giggled. He kind of goes, and we walk out, and the entire crew had burst into tears.
I bet.
And they've all got their cameras, and they're shooting the sky, they're shooting the rainbow, and it was, so that was a great day, because it kind of like, everybody got behind again. It's like, remember why we're here? Yeah, you know. So that was a really great day. But we had a lot of great days.
And on a spiritual film.
That's what I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that was-
Digging into the research over and over again, you can't avoid it. That's the story. So I said, okay, so why are we not taught? Why doesn't everybody know this?
Yeah,
Right.
you know,
Why doesn't
I
everybody know
know.
this? You'll see it in books. You know, they'll refer to she spells and seizures and stuff like that. But what you're not aware of that's so strong is that her premonitions were very accurate.
Yes.
And very accurate and observably and provably. You could prove it. You know, not just that she tells a story about God told her to turn left because there's danger ahead. That's a very famous Harriet Tubman, so she told it. But even things that are not in the movie that happen later, that other people observed, you know. Like, for instance, you know, she was supposed to meet John Brown at Harper's Ferry, and God sent her a vision that he was going to be cut down. And she mourned then. Yeah, she told friends, "I'm very worried," you know. So, Or she celebrated 2 years before the Emancipation Proclamation because God told her people were free. You know, so she is very observable, very accurate premonitions.
To 90.
Exactly.
She had to give the whole time.
I know.
Yep.
I don't know how much time we have, so if we could ask on a different subject. I mean, if we talked about each body, we'd be here too long. But talk to me. One of my favorites.
Me too.
It's outstanding. It's so
I love that movie. I
balanced.
love it so
It's so entertaining. And it should have been nominated all over the place in '08. It just really should have. So, like, what are the first thoughts that come to your mind when you think of that movie?
I love that movie. I love it a lot. I teach it a lot to my students because I think they're wonderful sequences in Talk to Me, and some of what directing's all about, you know, was expressed to me in that movie, like just acting and directing, you know, the dance of acting and directing, and really trying to. When I say fun, it might not sound like fun, but like the King assassination, like that was really fun to take something from extreme comedy and turn it into tragedy. Yeah, it's very. They were such, you know, it's just the nimbleness of actors and a narrative, like how you can pull the audience in one direction and then.
While you were shooting, did you know that it had the rhythm? Like it's got perfect beats and pacing.
Yeah, we went for it. We went for the rhythm. Yeah, we went for the rhythm, and you know, one of my favorite things. I've got so many. I love the movie, but one of my favorite things is they take this very long walk through the radio station into the sound booth. You know, and Sonderling's kind of saying, "And watch your language." But it has that rhythm and the pace at which they walked, and we walked it a lot, and we, you know, we definitely we wanted it to be have a rhythm.